Hey YouTube, this is my 2018 Nissan Leaf SV model, and this is going to be a very quick review. I've owned this car for less than 2 months. I've put over 7,000 kilometers on it so far, and I already have a good list of likes and dislikes that I'd like to share with you. I'm going to rapid fire a bunch of likes and dislikes, so here we go. I'm going to start with the dislikes. Dislike number one, just a general plasticky, cheapy interior material sort of feel. Very common on modern cars today. They just turn these things out. They don't particularly use high-end pieces and such, and that's the same with the Leaf. It's just plastic galore. This is all plastic. Hopefully this is gonna last, but it's just lightweight and plasticky feeling. Dislike number two, the sound system. I did not get the SL model with the Bose speaker system. This is the SV model. It's a workable sound system. The speakers themselves, though, are very mid-rangey speakers. There's no noticeable high highs or low lows. It's just very mid. It works, doesn't sound particularly good. Dislike number three, the paint job. It's not bad, and I actually bought some clear 3M cover. You can see the line right here where there's 3M on the front, just to prevent chips to the paint. But nonetheless, just in the first week, I got a handful of chips. Here's one right there. I'm gonna have to get that covered. So I don't know, can't really blame Nissan for that. Maybe it was a particularly big rock, but it's I don't know, maybe it's not really a complaint. Maybe I just had bad luck. Dislike number four, back to the interior. These weird white scuffs. Look here, there's one over here, and on the other side, I don't think, oh yeah, you can see it, there's another one there. That's just from people's elbows rubbing against the plastic. That's all it is, and it makes this whitish color on there. And I've cleaned this. I've used, cleaning sprays, Armor All, whatever. It doesn't come out. And that's just from having an elbow up against the interior door. You get this weird white stuff. Dislike number five, still in the interior, scratches. The side plastic here is very prone to getting scratched. And there's a few there. This right from the factory was all scratched up. This is exactly how it was the day I bought it. This has a plastic cover on it, and look, it's all scratched. There's lines along it. It's reflective. I don't know how well you can see them, but it's thin plastic, and it's all scratched up. This is a glossy plastic cover. This has got scratches. Look over here. There's yeah, the reflection, it's kind of harder to see, but look, there's these like deep gouge scratches. Have no idea what did them. Dislike number six, the power window lock prevents the driver from operating passenger windows. That makes no sense at all. So I can separately control all four windows, and there's also a lock button up here. And in any car I've ever owned, if you press the lock button, you, the driver, can still control all your windows. The lock button is here to prevent usually kids from playing with the windows in the back, right? But on this car, if I turn the lock button on, my window can still work, but if I, the driver, want to roll down the passenger front window or one of the back ones, I can't do it. So what the hell? Why would I ever, as a driver, want to lock myself out from moving my own windows up and down? That's just a weird logical fault. Why did they do it like that? Dislike number seven, the door is open warning beep. Listen to that. Beep, 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 beep. So here's the thing. If you ever just want to, I'm in my car sitting sideways with the door open. With this car being an EV, quite often you kind of want to just stick your head in and turn it on just to check your battery and whatnot. But how annoying is this? Beep, 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 beep. I get it. The door's open. The car's not on right now. I'm not going anywhere. And yet I've got to get in. I've got to close the door, when all I wanted to do was open the door, you know, get the gauges on, check my battery percentage and leave. But no, you got to get in your car, close the door, just to make the annoying beep go away. That just doesn't make any sense. It especially doesn't make sense if you're charging. I plugged in my charger, so the car's not going anywhere. I can't put it into drive because it's plugged in. Do I really need to have this door beeping at me when I'm not going anywhere and I'm sitting right here? I know it's open. Why does this have to beep at me? It's pretty annoying. Dislike number 8. I'll show it to you. Look, my door's open. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Drives me crazy. Anyway, dislike number 8. No sunroof. And that's too bad. There is no sunroof. Nissan does not have a sunroof option. I gladly would have paid more to get a Leaf with a sunroof, an extra, oh whatever, $2,000-3,000. I would have paid to have a nice factory sunroof, but not an option, no sunroof. Should you decide to go ahead and get an aftermarket sunroof, that is going to be a warranty issue. I called Nissan and inquired about it, and they said absolutely don't do it, not recommended, it can void your warranty. So that's too bad. This car is not meant to have a sunroof, and I would have liked it to have one, at least had the option. Dislike number 9, and this one is a doozy. It has to do with the charging of the 2018 Nissan Leaf. There is no active battery cooling. Why? Why would they do this? Electric vehicles get hot. Batteries get hot when they're used, and a lot of the competitors of Nissan, particularly Chevy and even Hyundai, the Ioniq, they have an active battery cooler. So as the battery is heating up, the cooler is bringing it back down. There is no active cooling with the 2018 Nissan Leaf. It's completely passive. What does that mean for owners? It means that when you plug into a high-speed charger, and this isn't a high-speed charger, this is my level 2 in my garage, but when you plug into a level 3 high-speed charger that's good for up to 50 kilowatt hours charging rate, you will get a reduced speed rate with the Nissan Leaf if the battery is too hot. On a number of occasions, I've plugged into high-speed chargers expecting, 42. I think that's the highest I've ever gotten is 42. But I'd get half that. I'd get 22. One particularly bad drive that I did, and I had my son with me, I was about 3 hours away from home and the battery was too hot, plugged into a high-speed charger, and I got a rate of 12 kilowatt hours. It was late at night. I had to get my son a sleeping bag, and we slept. It was after midnight. We slept in our car at a high-speed charger collecting 12 kilowatt hours, and it should have taken 30 minutes, but it took like 2 hours. So that sucks. Why did they not put an active cooler in there? Even as an option, I would have paid more to have an active cooler. So if they wanted to charge me a couple of $1,000s more to have one, I absolutely would have taken it. This is a known problem. It's called Rapid Gate. You can look it up. It's well known. It is a real thing, and I think they really dropped the ball on that, not having active battery cooling on the Leaf. So that covers all my dislikes. Now let's get on to the likes, and they are plentiful. The big one right off the bat, not paying for gas. How awesome is that? I don't pay for gas anymore. I've done the math, and where I live with the price of electricity, I live in British Columbia, Canada, where we are, I believe, 96 or 97% hydro. So we have very clean electricity here, and it's low cost. It works out to about 2 cents per kilometer traveled. That's what I pay from plugging into my garage. But there's also free high-speed chargers all over the place. So I tend to pay probably less, on average, less than 1 cent per kilometer to drive this car, and that's amazing. Like number 2 is the range. It's quite respectable. It's not Tesla Model 3 range, but for what you pay and what it delivers, very respectable. The official range is 242 kilometers on the 40 kilowatt battery, but with city driving, have usually gotten about 270, 280 kilometers on one charge. So I'm quite pleased with that. Another very big like, of course, is I get to use the HOV lanes, so that's cool. Next major like is the discounts available where I live. In British Columbia, there's a BC EV discount. And that's $5,000 right off the sticker price pre-tax. So if you get an EV that's 42,000, and that's what this one is, 42,000 Canadian, it's actually 37 because they take 5K right off the top. That's a sweet deal. In addition to the $5,000 BC EV discount, there's also a BC Scrap It program where if you buy a new EV that's on the list, and the Leaf is on the list, you'll get $6,000 for your trade-in. And I read the fine print on that very closely. Long story short, I had a 1994 Ford Tempo, absolute piece of junk, and I drove it to the scrapyard, and in exchange they gave me a check in the mail for $6,000. So that's really good. So in total, both of those discounts combined, that was $11,000 off. So a $42,000 car actually costs $31,000. Good deal. Overall styling of the car, I like this car. It looks like a modern day kind of Japanese looking car. What it doesn't look like is a novelty like the last generation Leaf and you know, the Prius and all these weird looking electric cars that just scream tree hugger. This is a normal looking car that, I don't know, it's just got nice normal looking styling, and I like it. I like that it is not a novelty. Next like for me, and this is a really good one, is the acceleration. This thing is awesome off the line. Just for fun, I'm not a speed racer, and I don't go out looking for trouble. I'm a married guy with 3 kids, and I'm pretty conservative on the pedal. But that said, you can really take off in this thing. And, you know, goofing around with motorcyclists at a red light, you could put your foot down and surprise them a little. And it's just fun. It puts a grin on my face most times when I drive it, because the acceleration is quite impressive. More likes generally about the drivability of this car. So yeah, peppy acceleration, quite sporty handling just from the low center of gravity. That the battery is underneath you, and it feels like a sports car. It drives like one. That's pretty cool. Also for driving, this model has, and you can see here, an e-pedal, and this is an option that's turned on the console here. It's a little toggle right there, and you can actually go in the menus and set it so that it's always on, so I never have to manually turn it on, and I keep it on all the time. What it does is it makes the car brake on its own without you having to touch the brake pedal. When you come off the accelerator, it puts the full regen on. So when you're slowing down, you'll go fully into the blue, full regen. Full regen is 0.2 Gs. That's what it feels like in the car. So it's nowhere near as strong as you stepping on the brake pedal. But if you get good at it, you take your foot off as you're rolling up to a stop sign, and you'll, when you get good at it, you'll be able to come to a stop right where you want to stop and never have to touch your brake pedal. So that's pretty awesome. All that momentum is going back into your battery. It's all going into regen rather than going into your brake pads and rotors, and you're chewing up pads and rotors and creating heat. With e-pedal, that energy is going back into your battery. That's very smart. The next big like, I can't show it because I don't have my USB cable, can't plug anything in, but this has Apple CarPlay and whatever the other one's called for Android phones. So that's pretty cool. The connectivity to your phone for hands-free communication, using Siri. You can ask Siri questions, and you activate Siri from your steering wheel. You press and hold that, and Siri turns on. So that's pretty cool tech. Apple CarPlay is great. The next big like is ProPilot Assist, and what that is, it's basically very fancy adaptive cruise control. It's all turned on with the switches right here. You're driving along, you hit this button to turn it on, and then once you're at the speed you want to go, you hit this to set it, beep, and then it turns on. And once it's turned on, the steering wheel you can feel it moving by itself. The law says you have to keep your hand on, and you'll actually get warnings, and it'll start making noises and beeps at you if it feels that you're not holding on. But I mean, you could just kind of rest your hand here and just kind of barely hold on to it. And when you're going around turns, the steering wheel turns by itself. If you're on the highway and you've got the cruise control set to, say, I don't know, 100 kilometers per hour, 60 miles per hour, and there's traffic up ahead, it'll slow down by itself and it'll speed up by itself. So if you're in stop and go traffic, it's pretty cool. It just kind of does its own thing. Next for like is the dash display. Generally, I like what they've done here. It's digital as well as analog display combined, and you control it from the steering wheel here, left and right. There's all kinds of different screens and things you can look at, and if you're a nerd like me, they're fun to kind of go into and look at. So it'll show you your approximate charge times based on your charger hookup, what you're using. Shows you battery temperature and battery life as the years go by. If there's any degradation, you'll see it in there. And then if you go over to the other sections, you can control your Bluetooth audio. You've got a compass built in. You've got all the leafy, environmentally stuff in here about how much power you're using and how far you're getting on average. And what else have you got in here? Yeah, there's general info. This isn't showing because I don't have the car running, but it'll show you the PSI for your tires. If you have the cruise control on, you set your distance from here. And what else? You can turn on or off all of your crash avoidance sensors from here. And yeah, there's just a general screen that shows your speed and direction and audio. So that's pretty cool. And then in here, this is all your more of your settings. There's all kinds of stuff to play with in there. So if you're nerdy and you like to have all kinds of stuff to look at and play with, you'll probably like that. The next like is the driver's seat, but just to be ironic, I'm going to show it to you with the door open. And hey, what's that noise? Beep, 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 beep. Yes, car's turned off. I don't need to know that the door is open. I get it. Anyway, driver's seat. It's electronic. There's 3 motorized switches here. You can control the, you see my point about how annoying that beep is? You can control the height, distance to the front. It's also got lumbar support. And if you're an old injured guy like me with your share of tears and breaks and such, the lumbar support's pretty cool. Hit this switch and inside the seat, you'll actually get more support on your lower back. So I really like that. Next on the like list, the wheels. Cool alloy wheels on the 2018 Nissan Leaf if you get the SV or the SL model. The base S model doesn't have alloy wheels. You get just basic ugly wheels with some kind of a hubcap. But yeah, I'm not a high roller. I've never had a car with nice alloy wheels, so that's pretty ballin' for me. I like them. So there you have it. That's my list of major likes and dislikes on this car. After owning it for a couple months, putting about 7,000 kilometers on it. Overall, and I was really picky on my dislikes, but overall, I'm very happy with this car. For the price I paid, 31,000 Canadian for a fully electric car. That's a really good deal. I'm happy with it. Glad I bought it. For dislikes, the major one is the battery cooling or the lack of it. Why did they do that? And now I've heard that the 2019, there was talk that they were going to have an active cooler in that, but now I'm hearing that no, they won't. 2019 model is going to be the same. So, boy oh boy, maybe an aftermarket company will have some kind of a cooling solution, and if something becomes available, I will buy it. I really want an active cooler. I don't want to plug into a level 3 fast charger and get 20. I want 40 plus. That's crazy. It really is more than just a minor nuisance, that active battery cooling. Like if you're in need of a charge and you're on the highway and you find a station and now your top up is going to take 2 hours instead of 30 minutes, that sucks. That's really not good. And there is a charging cost issue to be aware of. due to the passive battery cooling. A lot of high-speed chargers, I drove this car down to Portland, and I was always getting reduced charge rates due to heat. And a lot of the chargers down there are by the minute, 25 cents a minute. So if you plug in at 25 cents a minute and you only get half of the electricity that the charger allows because the car is throttling down your maximum speed, it means that you've got to be on the charger twice as long as you would have otherwise. And it means you're paying twice as much for the electricity because you got to be on there twice as long. Or what if it's down to a quarter maximum speed? So now for every 1 minute of charge, you're paying for 4 minutes of charge, and you've quadrupled what you're paying to get charged up. So why, Nissan? Why did you do this? And that's all I have to say. Despite my gripe about the charging issue and a good amount of dislikes, none of them are super serious, you know. But no, for the price, I'm really happy with this car. 31,000 Canadian. Canadian dollar sucks. $31,000 Canadian for an all-electric car. I'm happy with it. But come on, Nissan, get the cooling figured out, and you'd have a real winner. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.